Warning, warning, warning. Don't wait. Waiting's bad. Waiting's bad anytime. Waiting for, your table at a restaurant. Waiting in line for anything. Waiting for something cool that's going to happen. Waiting to see someone you really want to see. They're all bad. You know what also sucks when it comes to waiting? Waiting for your perfect mortgage rate to come along in the year 2022. Let me tell you something. The Fed is going to raise rates again, and maybe a couple of times. And that means the mortgage rate you'll pay on an original mortgage or a refi, it's going to go up. Waiting is not your friend. You need to act now. And the good people at Team Hochberg, David Hochberg and all of his people, they're going to tell you exactly when you can refi to a lower rate. Maybe they'll put you in one of those ARMs, your adjustable rate mortgage. Those are very popular, again, for obvious reasons. But they're going to manage the timing. They're going to tell you what they need from you. You deliver the details. They deliver the goods. You're going to save money. So, no, you don't have to put off buying a house this year, and you shouldn't. David Hochberg and Team Hochberg, title sponsors of Live from My Office since 2020. Because that's actually when we started. And thank you, David, once again. David Hochberg, Team Hochberg, 855-56-DAVID, 56david.com.
The Deep Six. 6 stories from your world in 30 minutes or less. Hosted by Patty Steele and Steve Cochran. The Deep Six is on.
Oh, good times are back. It's the Deep Six. I'm Steve Cochran in Chicago, and...
I'm Patty Steele. I'm here in New York City, and you say good times are back. I really need to do this more than once a week because I need good times more than 1 half hour a week.
What a typical man I turned out to be, huh?
Right. That's exactly it. No, normally it's more like 3 minutes at best.
Right. At
least you give me a half hour.
Look, here's what we do. It's 2 friends, 6 topics, and we do it in 45 minutes or less, generally speaking. And it's stuff you can talk about, have fun with. You want to start with entertainment as usual?
Oh, absolutely.
The Deep Six. Story number 1.
We've been talking so much, of course, in the last months about Johnny Depp. And you know what's interesting? And I don't know that everybody predicted that his career was over at the beginning of this whole Amber Heard trial mess. And in fact, he's become hotter than ever in the aftermath of all of this. Nobody can seem to get enough of him. I know he's going to go out on tour with the Hollywood Vampires.
That's his band?
Yeah. Joe Perry, Alice Cooper, Tommy Hendrickson. They're going to go out sometime, I guess, next year on a 6-city European tour. And if they are welcomed heartily, I think they will then head to the United States and do it as well. But everybody's like worked up about him. Well, listen to this. Even the value of his movie props is skyrocketing. If you were going to choose one iconic prop from a Johnny Depp flick, what would it be? If you were going to throw stupid money after something?
Well, the one that I would probably enjoy most would be slipping into his pirate costume. Which, by the way, would be bursting at the seams if I wore it.
I'd like to slip into that costume myself.
So maybe the pirate bandana, but that's probably not it.
No, or the eye patch or something like that. No, what it is actually was I don't know how else you say it, the scissor hands from Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, sure. You know what? That makes sense.
Yeah.
So what do you pay for scissor hands?
They put those up for auction in the last couple of weeks, and they got almost $82,000. Now, when they first said they were auctioning them off before the whole trial got underway, they were expecting to get about $30,000 for them. $82,000.
So does that mean, I'm doing the math here, is that $8,200 per scissor finger?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
Perfect. I think you get a little less for the thumb. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But now, so whoever owns the Harley Davidson that he rode, it's a 1955 Harley that he rode in Crybaby. That's now going up for auction because somebody's going, hey, I better cash in right now. The starting bid on that, $250,000. And a lot of people say, wait, I saw Crybaby. He destroyed that motorcycle. And in fact, what he destroyed was a cheap replica because the actual motorcycle that he mostly rode in the movie was not destroyed for the movie and is out there. And that's what I
like rule of 3. You got one more?
I absolutely have. What do you mean? Rule of 3 in terms of what they're selling?
Yeah, rule of three in terms of things I could buy that I won't.
Oh, sure. How about the Wilson soccer ball from Tom Hanks' Castaway?
Well, I might buy that.
Yeah, well, too late. Somebody already bought it, $187,000.
Where is the money coming from?
Well, that's the question. Like, this is just stupid money. Hello, aren't we in a recession? Have you thought about saving money?
Do you know how much gas is? How can you be spending
how much
$200,000 on a
formula
volleyball?
is? You can find it. No, it doesn't make sense to me. And what do you do with this stuff? Do you just like shove it in the bathroom or in some weird space, or do you actually, try to make money off of it? I mean, I know.
And I thought the one that usually did this. Usually, the people in Hollywood that do this are actors who get too rich too fast, and then they go bankrupt because they buy everything. Like, didn't Nicolas Cage buy a castle?
Well, he bought like 7 or 8 houses, and he had to sell most of them.
Right. And
Like,
somebody bought a dinosaur head.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And he's an Elvis freak, so he had all this Elvis memorabilia. But he'd go to do a movie, say in New Orleans, and he'd see a house for sale there, and he'd just go ahead and buy it, a few $1 million, and then he would never visit it. And finally, that really started to catch up with him, which is why there were just a whole spate of terrible Nicolas Cage movies, because he's trying to make some money back.
The last one he did, though, where he makes fun of himself, supposedly is a really good film. I've not seen it.
Yeah, no, lately he's been doing better.
What is it? The Unbearable Weight of Being Me or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know this to be true, but I'm going to guess that if you were going to buy anything of a notable nature from a famous person, the thing you would drop all and sell things to finance and all of that, Abraham Lincoln's top hat.
Thank you. Yes, I would buy. Actually, there's a lot of Lincoln memorabilia I would buy.
Really?
I have to find one that I could afford. Yes.
Well, you are on WCBS-FM every morning. I'm on WLS in Chicago. Every morning, and I'm closer than you are to the Abraham Lincoln Museum.
Oh yeah, in Springfield. Spectacular.
We could organize a heist.
Yeah, I don't want to have a heist, but we could do a field trip, a show field trip down.
That would be fun. The Deep Six from the Lincoln Museum.
How great would that be? Oh
That's
man,
a very cool idea.
And only we would listen to it. I think.
No, I don't know. I think people love Abe. They still do.
Yeah. He's pretty special.
And by the way, we need him now more than ever.
Oh man, don't get me started. I'll start crying. We definitely do.
Now you're a great mom. You're very close to your kids.
Thank you.
And I don't know that this would apply to you. I don't know how many people this applied to. Chris Evans, the actor, the beautiful actor.
Great actor. He's in Lightyear right now.
Yeah, exactly. So he's out promoting Lightyear. Now this is going to shock you. I hope you're sitting down.
I am.
Yeah, I can see you. BuzzFeed came out with a list. I know what you're saying. BuzzFeed came out with a list.
Right.
BuzzFeed came out with a list about just moments when Chris Evans was Chris Evans and only Chris Evans would do what he does and that kind of thing. So number one on the list, and I did not know this. This goes back to a movie I was promoting several years ago. He was on Late Night with Seth Meyers, and Seth Meyers had gotten a tip, and he verified the story. Chris Evans, when he lost his virginity, ran home to tell his mom.
I do have one kid that I think would
really
told me like way more than I actually needed to know, because he was asking questions, and it wasn't my daughter. And yeah, and you kind of look at him and you think, oh God, I love that they trust me this much, but TMI, sweetheart.
Right.
This is this is the little bottom of my diaper. I don't want to know about this other stuff.
Right. I'm more concerned about the back in the old days than the front right now.
Right.
Chris Evans supposedly responded to Seth Meyers saying about his mom, she's a really, really, really cool woman. And yeah, I did. I raced home and I shouted, I did it. I don't know what I did or what I was doing, but I think I did it.
What I want to know is, what did she say?
I think she gave him a participation ribbon. I don't know what she did.
What's your favorite meal, honey? I'll cook it for you right now.
It's so funny. All right, now we have to talk celebrity love.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not all good news. You're here to tell me Rupert Murdoch and Jerry Hall are no more?
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch. 91 years old, but
Right.
worth $18 billion. And Jerry Hall, 65. And of course, we all know her because not only was she a big model, but she was also with Mick Jagger for 22 years, had 4 children with him, but they never did get married. She, left him or he left her quite some time ago. But now, like 6 years ago, she married the guy that owns Fox News Media. And I don't know. It's funny because when he married her 6 years ago, he was just a little babe, 85 years old. He called himself the luckiest, happiest man in the world. So the question is, what makes you get divorced at the age of 91?
I mean, is his ego big enough to think he's going to do better?
I guess. I don't know. I mean, in fairness to him, I'm always the one that says we got to keep looking forward in life. You don't sign any, I have to do this because I'm this age. You don't do that. But at the same time, 91, you have somebody who appears to, be amused by you and have fun with you. And now I do know that she was supposed to take on the role of Mrs. Robinson in The Graduate in London's West End for a show there. And she'd played that role. I don't know if she ever did it on Broadway, but she had done it in a number of places. And he said, absolutely not. You're not going to do that.
Really?
Yeah. He banned her from doing it. Now, he comes from that generation where billionaires weirdly could tell their wives, you don't do this, and they didn't do it. So I don't know if it's that. It could be a money thing. I looked at pictures of their wedding from 6 years ago, and I noticed that her 4 kids were all like really happy and bouncing down the aisle in their little festive wedding suits. They're grown kids, but whatever. His kids, meantime, looked like they were attending their father's funeral. They were
they were attending the funeral of their inheritance.
And really, that's exactly what I think they were worried about. Now, it's funny because it was not a big wedding. It was in London, but everybody that was in the wedding party had these like little Lord Fauntleroy blue suits on and blue flowy dresses. So here you have these guys in these blue suits with this big puss on their face. It was unique. And keep in mind, he's 91. So he's probably got kids that are approaching 70 or whatever.
Sure, of course.
So it's interesting. I mean, he's no idiot. He did give her a $4 million engagement ring. I'm sure she'll keep that. They just in like January bought a cattle ranch in Montana, 340,000 acres for $200 million. Now, I don't know who gets that. I don't even know if either of them ever live in Montana, but they have that. It's 50 miles across. Their ranch.
Their property is 50 miles?
50 miles across. Yeah. So, I'm sure he had an airtight prenup, but still, I'm betting his.
But we don't know who initiated the divorce, right?
No, we don't at this point, but that I'll find out.
Well, Rupert Murdoch at 9. Hello, ladies. Rupert Murdoch, free man at 91.
Exactly.
He's going to go clubbing, but he'll be there for the early session. He has to be home by noon.
You know how many women would line up for that? Because there are so many women out there that would go, let me think, 18 to $20 billion, and he's 91. Like, how much time would I actually have to give him?
Sure.
If I'm 40, I just have to make it to 50. He'll be 101. Yeah. It'll be done.
He's going to check out and I'm going to get paid.
Right. Exactly.
Well, if we're going to have a broken heart, we should have a happy heart. And we do, from someone who you often think of when you think of Rupert Murdoch, Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Do I think of him? Yeah.
Oh, no, you don't tie those two together?
Him and Rupert, no.
Bill Nye the Science Guy got married, and I don't know why. I don't think of Bill Nye as a playa. I would have thought he would have been well married by now because he's approaching 70, I believe.
Right.
But he married a lovely woman, a journalist and author I've not heard of before. Her name is Liza Mundy.
Okay.
And they were married at the Castle Buildings Haupt Garden at the Smithsonian. Well, of course they were.
Of course they were married at the Smithsonian.
Bill Nye the Science Guy. He broke up with a beaker so he could marry this woman.
And you had to have a PhD in order to attend the wedding.
Yes. And
I have to tell you, though, he was married in the past.
Oh, he was?
Yeah, for 1 full year. He was married to a woman, Blair Tyndall, in 2006, and then had it annulled in 2006. So, and he has kids. So,
Found out she was just in it for the theorems.
Right, exactly.
I thought it was love. Now that we've got a broken heart medical thing coming up, but you were really excited about a movie you told me about as we continue with item number one, topic number one, entertainment. And this to me sounds like a Patty must-see movie. So sell it.
Oh, wow. I got to tell you, it's on Hulu, and it's this little flick with a god-awful name, honestly, because it doesn't tell you anything about the movie. It's called Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. But
that's the name of the movie?
That's the name of the movie. Yeah.
Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. Who's in it?
Leo Grand is in it.
Okay, good.
Actually, Emma Thompson.
Oh, I love her.
Oh, she is just radiant. She's this retired school teacher, and she's a widow. And the problem is she actually never got a decent handle on sex, even though she has 2 kids. She has never, been satisfied. So she decides she's looking at all her friends. She's in her early 60s. She's looking at her friends, and her friends are all talking about the things that hurt. And, I am so tired all the time. And she's thinking, I'm not ready for this. I haven't even discovered what life is all about. And everybody's talking about it ending. And she decides she wants to know what she missed as far as sex goes.
Okay.
So she hires this young, gorgeous sex worker named Leo Grand, and to show her the ropes. And not the ropes, but
Well, it could be the ropes if she's into it.
It could be, but no. And here's the thing I loved about this movie. I read this great New York Times interview with Emma about it. And she was talking about the challenge of doing a realistic nude scene at the age of 63. Wow. She said it was the most difficult thing she had done in her 40-year career. But she said, I looked at myself and I said, if you want to change the way people look at the female body, you better be a part of the change.
Wow.
And that meant embracing who she was, where she was, and what she looked like,
really
and
powerful.
Understanding that it's still sexy, and Absolutely. It can be sexy. You don't have to look like a 22-year-old, Victoria's Secret model, although they don't look that way anymore either. You don't have to look like that in order to be beautiful and sexy. And this movie takes like a really deep dive into the friendship that these 2 people, in addition to the physical joy, the friendship that they create by understanding each other's sort of the things that are almost hidden inside them. Like she talks about her kids and how she doesn't really like her kids. And he kind of helps her explore that and understand that the reason she doesn't really like her kids is because she has unrealistic expectations. And then she talks to him about his family, and he says, I don't talk about my family. And she said, why not? And he gets upset. And finally, he admits to her that his mother sort of disowned him because she suspected he was not working on an oil rig, but instead was working on Emma Thompson and other women and people. And so, she.
By the way, that's a better title for the movie, Working on Emma Thompson.
I know. More people would go to see it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
But it is. I think everybody should see it because it
sounds very cool.
It tells you something about yourself and about life and about where we're headed and about the beauty of just sort of accepting and loving who we are at this moment in time and moving it forward. So,
well, the other thing too that I think it jumps out for me anyway, is the intimacy of having a sexual relationship with someone that truly is your friend, somebody you really care about.
Yeah, they become friends, but they're not in each other's personal lives other than that space. And it's almost like if you're going to a therapist, you share an awful lot with that therapist, but you never see them outside of the therapy office, for the most part. But you uncover things and you share things that you don't share with other people.
No, it sounds very good. Give me the terrible title again.
Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, and it's on Hulu, and I really highly recommend it.
That's cool.
The Deep Six Number 2.
So we don't know if Rupert Murdoch or Jerry Hall's going through this. We know Bill Nye the Science Guy isn't yet.
Nope.
But your brain changes in response to being dumped or having your heart broken.
Oh, so it's a brain impact, or is it a heart impact?
Your brain changes, which has an impact on your heart, which is more the
Right.
emotional, the figurative piece of it. This study presented by the British Cardiovascular Society, like they know anything about hearts.
Right. Duh.
They had a conference in Manchester. It said changes in the level of brain activity in areas known to control the beating of the heart. And of course, your brain has to be working for your heart to be beating, appropriately. Those happen when you have had your heart broken. If you're looking for the particular name so you can use it to get a day off from work, tell them you have Takotsubo syndrome.
Oh, God.
Takotsubo.
Have I dealt with that?
Takotsubo syndrome is a sudden form of acute heart failure estimated to affect as much as 5,000 people in the United K, where this United K, the UK.
It's like, where the hell is that?
It's in the 401k.
Yeah.
And it affects 5,000 people each year. It's mainly seen in postmenopausal women. It can cause the same symptoms as a heart attack, though people tend to survive, but the heart essentially starts to shut down because you've had your heart broken.
Okay, I'm going to call you on this one, Mr. Cochran, because if I remember clearly, sometime in the past month or two, we've talked about how men actually suffer more from breakups than women do.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Where are the signs?
I'm just bringing you the science. You know what I'm saying?
Misogynistic United K researchers that bring this up.
Yeah,
All right,
no, hey, listen, I'm just bringing you the science. It's up to you what you do with it. But I'm telling you now, you look to me like somebody who's never had to deal with Takotsubo syndrome.
No, but you never know. There's always time. Me and Emma Thompson.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, I'll have to see your expense report and see who you're hiring.
Thank you.
All right. So continuing on along the line of love or lack of love, or boy, do I wish I was
Problems with love. Yes.
Maybe you're in a relationship. Maybe you're in a relationship that's not going the way you want.
Oh,
maybe you don't
that never happens.
Maybe you don't have Takotsubo syndrome yet, but I have a story. A story of 10 signs. These are behaviors that show that you have big problems in your relationship.
Okay.
All right. Item number 1, your go-to answer is no. Whatever your partner brings up to you. Nope.
Nope. Not going to do it.
Nope.
Okay. There's one.
You're the issue. You self-sabotage for no reason. If you're self-sabotaging and causing problems in an otherwise happy relationship.
Is this 2 or is this part of 1?
This is 2.
Okay.
By the way, should I alert your husband you're taking notes?
I'm holding up fingers at this point.
Right. So take a minute to reflect on why you're feeling this way and what are you doing to sabotage? Sabotage yourself. Number 3, you let your partner do all the work in the relationship.
Oh, I was like, what does that mean?
So they're doing their best to try to keep it going. And you just go to number 4, which is you go silent instead of talking about your feelings.
Oh, God. Wow.
You never say you're sorry. That's number 5. Number 6, you vent to your friends instead of working things out with your partner. Number 7, you create drama just because it's more interesting than your relationship. Ouch.
Oh, haven't you seen that? Haven't you experienced that? Oh man, that is because, and you see that, I would say primarily when you're much younger, when you're like in your 20s, and there's that need for constant excitement and drama. And, you date somebody and then after, who knows, a few months or something, it starts to get a little less interesting. So you create this drama. I thought I saw you looking at someone. I didn't look at someone.
Right.
Yes, you did. I'm going to block you on social media. You creep, and I see that in some of the people that live in my house that are a little younger than me.
Number 8, you can't let things go.
Yes, I can.
You're number 9, your partner's afraid to be honest with you, which is why this whole thing's a lie.
Yeah.
Right. And number 10, you try to change the person you're in the relationship with, but you never see the issues that you need to change in yourself.
Oh, thank you.
Those
but only
are all
the reverse.
legitimate red flags. But I have to say, after working through the list, I didn't need the headline of the list to tell me your relationship's in trouble. Because if you see those symptoms, you go, oh, yeah, you're done.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
All right, let's go on now to topic number 3.
Travel.
It's some summertime. You want to travel?
Yeah, I want to travel. You were telling me this story, and I think it's very, very interesting about flight attendants sort of owning up, and probably after a few cocktails, on what they say to us and what is really going on in their heads.
Well, let me give you a perfect example. So you're flying, say, over, you're going to another country, or maybe you're flying over a part of America you've not been to before.
Right.
You're looking out the window. You're curious. Where are we? When you take the international flights, you have that little screen in front of you, which usually will show you where the plane is in
right.
relation to the world. So you're flying west, say from New York or Chicago, where I am. And as you're flying west, you look out the window and you go, excuse me, flight attendant, could you tell me where we are right now? And this woman says, she doesn't give it up her name. She said, we are trained to show confidence even when we don't have answers. That makes sense. But we are also trained to do our job as quickly as possible. So if I'm going to pour the fizz out of your stupid Coke that you ordered, I've got things to do other than worrying about what you're looking at. So flight attendant says, and she says, any flight attendant who's willing to talk will admit this. They just make crap up.
Why, certainly. What you're looking at now is Des Moines, Iowa. A fine little city.
Right. You're flying over Des Moines and the flight attendant goes, oh, that looks like Paris. Oh, Paris is very nice. So,
it's funny is my brother is a lawyer, and he said that's kind of like the hidden little thing about lawyers is it's not what you say, or even if it's exactly true, it's if you can say it with absolute confidence.
Oh, if you can sell it. Okay.
Yeah. It's saying, well, it's pretty clear to me that he's guilty because X, Y, and Z, when in fact you're in your head going, well, I don't know if he's guilty.
All right. Now, how about this?
Yeah.
My wife and I just got back from Charleston, South Carolina, a week or two ago.
Are you sure that's where you were? That's not what the flight attendant told you?
I don't even know where I was. And beautiful beaches. And when you go to the beach, what happens? Go to the beach. If the weather's nice, you're probably going to go into the ocean for a little bit.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
It turns out the ocean is not the cliche. It's not the world's biggest toilet. Tell me more.
Well, in your case, because you were in the U.S., you probably could do whatever you want in the ocean. But in Spain, apparently, they are initiating these fines, and it's hundreds of euros after a local council passed a ban on peeing in the ocean. It's in an area of to the south in Spain near the ocean. Obviously, it has to be in the ocean. And they are sick of people urinating in the sea. So they are giving you a 750 euro penalty, which is, close to $1,000 Now, the question I have is, how will they know? Like, do they look at you and you're suddenly just standing there looking very peaceful, staring out to the sea? Like, what is that? I mean, how are they going to really know?
It's it's those damn narc dolphins who somehow signal the people on the beach.
Ew! Do you realize I'm breathing this? It's funny because do you remember some years back, and I don't think they still do it anymore, there were some city pools. I know there were some in New York that did it, that they put some kind of substance in the water so that if you peed,
they'd go like blue or
it would
different
be like
color.
Bright blue or whatever. And so, but they can't do that in the ocean. Oh my God. What would you do? How would you know?
Listen, your question's completely valid. How would you know? And really the greatest question man has never fully answered. Should we be able to make a tinkle in the ocean, wherever we are in the ocean? I've told my little kids in the past, and I think it's a good message for little kids who get afraid of the outdoors and bugs or whatever. It's goes, look, we're in their house.
Yes.
We're in their house. So the next time you want to pee in the ocean, just think about the fact that you're in their house. Do you go to your friend's house, drop trowel and pee? Like,
And
in the
then
living room?
on the other side, devil's advocate here, look out onto the beach and realize that it's like a half-mile walk to the nearest bathroom. And then
You're right.
go ahead and pee.
You're right. Pee on Flipper.
The Deep Six, number 4.
Now, we have an extensive rehearsal before we begin recording the Deep Six.
Yes.
You were creeped out by this technology.
Oh my God.
This
You don't
technology,
even have
Adam.
to go further. I'm getting like chills down my spine. Go ahead.
But I'm telling you, there's a different way you can look at this.
Okay.
Recently at Amazon's conference, the Mars conference, Machine Learning, Automation, Robotics, and Space, Mars is the acronym, one of their senior VPs and head scientists announced that Alexa's new supernatural talent is the ability to mimic someone's voice using less than a minute of a recording. Why is this important to you? Let's say you kept a snippet of mom or dad before they passed away.
Oh God.
And you didn't want to get rid of that voicemail outgoing message or their answering machine message. Or maybe you've got a tape recording. Or maybe, if you lost somebody recently, condolences, maybe you have something on your phone. But you can take, in this new version of Alexa, the voice of someone who's passed, and it can become your Alexa voice.
Now, here's the question. Can you make it say things that the dead person did not say?
Well, now you got yourself a movie.
Well, I'm thinking AI. I'm thinking about, I know, and don't start crying, but I will tell you what happened to me because I lost my exceptionally exciting, beautiful, fun, loving, beautiful mother some years ago.
Right.
And I had this last message from her on my phone and she would do this. She would call me up and it almost sounded like she thought she was talking to me. She would, oh, hi, sweetheart.
Wow.
And she's, oh, you know what I did today? And she's telling a story about stuff she did. And then she says, oh, well, I know you're not here. You're not home right now, but I just wanted to tell you. And then she goes on, she starts talking about a neighbor and it's this beautiful, and it was her sweet, happy, she was always happy, loving voice. And not long after that, she passed. And I saved that on my phone for years and would listen to it. And I loved it. And one day I went into a Verizon store and we were getting a new phone and they said, oh yeah, we can transfer all the blah, blah, blah to a new phone.
No,
we're just going to disconnect your service and then reconnect it. And I said, but I have like a voicemail from my mother. I have a voicemail from my 4-year-old son when he is calling me up and going, Mommy, are you coming home from work soon? It was so adorable. And he said, oh yeah, it'll be there. Turn the phone back on, gone. Gone. So I would do anything to be able to hear, because I'm a sound person. That's all I care about.
That is so heartbreaking. If
I could hear those voices again, because my son is now 23. He doesn't have that mommy kind of voice anymore. And my mother's gone. And yeah, I know.
Wow. That is a truly terrible thing. And Verizon should be owned by you now.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, the demo that they did with the Alexa, this sounds like a tearjerker. A young boy is seen lying on the couch and flipping through a book. He then asks, Alexa, can grandma finish reading me The Wizard of Oz? Oh. Alexa says, okay. And then the AI, the artificial intelligence, which has taken a piece of grandma's voice, then perfectly mimics her voice and reads the rest of the book.
Oh my God. Oh, well, there you go.
So it's not as creepy as,
No, it's not creepy. It seems at first blush, the voice of the dead. It sounds creepy. And I just got it. I can chill myself. It's amazing.
You apparently can.
The Deep Six, number 5.
Should we trust our gut?
That's an interesting question. I personally, in the course of my life, have not always trusted my gut. I trusted other people to tell me what to do. And lo and behold, time goes by and I go, why the hell did I trust them on that? Whether it's, taking a job or moving somewhere or dating somebody or whatever it is. But they did a survey of 2,000 adults and asked them if they believe in going with their gut when making decisions. And 70% of the respondents said they always trust their instincts. I wish that I had at a younger age. I think I'm more likely to do it now because I kind of feel like, if something just kind of doesn't stick right with me, then I tend to pull back and just say, you know what? I think we need to question this a little more.
Well, don't you think too, with the access we have to being able to Google everything and see anything we want at any given time on any screen that's near us, we create more choices that make it harder for us to make a choice and less likely we'll trust our gut?
Oh, 1,000%. It's like going shopping and saying, okay, I need to go buy a pair of shoes. And then you walk in and there are 50,000 pairs of shoes and in like different little shades. And one has a 2.5-inch heel and the other one has a 3-inch heel. And you just get so completely bombarded that you walk out. And I do think it's the same thing. It's like, I can't even, how do I have a gut decision when I'm being bombarded with different possibilities? But sometimes you just have to go with, instinct and not say, well, maybe I should look a little further. Maybe I should question a little more. If you feel right about something, maybe
just do it.
Yeah. And guess what? Here's the worst thing that'll happen. Maybe you're wrong and you'll learn from it and you'll say, okay, I'm not going to do it that way the next time.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, that's probably the best lesson we've ever given you on the Deep Six. All right. Also, under the general guise of stories about health, this was just a real smile maker. The headline reads, balancing on one leg for 10 seconds may predict the likelihood of living or dying.
What? Like how soon?
Well, listen, sometime after 10 seconds, I'm thinking, you're twice as likely to die in the next decade if you're currently unable to balance on one foot for 10 seconds, according to a new study.
Okay.
The peer-reviewed study, as Patty is now about to balance on one leg.
Can I hold on to the table while I do it?
I don't think that's the way you're supposed to do it, but for training purposes, sure.
Okay.
The peer-reviewed study conducted by the Brazilian researchers published Tuesday in the British Journal of Sports Medicine, Tuesday of the week this came out, I should say, saying it's a broad indicator of the expectancy across age ranges, much more so than aerobic fitness. Now, here's why I bring it up. And by the way, Patty is now standing on her
17
head.
seconds.
That's really good. Seriously, that's very good. You're not going to die.
Twice as long as I should.
Yeah, no, that's really good. That's really good.
I stopped. I didn't have to stop, but I did. But I do have to say, but my foot kind of wobbled a tiny bit.
Did you feel shaky at all?
It wobbled, but I didn't fall down.
Yeah. Now, because of the size of my head, I've been doing the entire show on my head, but I'm not one to brag. Says if you're younger than 70, you're expected, as are the majority of those at that age, to successfully complete 10 seconds.
For
those
nothing
older
special
than 70, if you complete it, you got a better shot than others. The reason I bring this up too is I know this for a fact. Northwestern Medicine, this huge hospital conglomerate in the Chicago area from Northwestern University, Northwestern Medicine will ask you as standard questions, and maybe everybody does it, but I know they do it. We'll ask you as standard questions. Are you concerned about falling? And are you concerned about falling in your home? So maybe,
interesting.
because again, this whole thing, medical science seems to realize that if you are able to be balanced and in balance,
right,
you're probably, healthier.
Well, and if we go back to a previous Deep Six, didn't we also talk about you're more likely to live past the age of 90 if you are an optimist, if you keep a positive outlook? So keep a positive outlook and practice balancing on one foot. And there you go. Now, let's say you got a stuffed up head. This is the last thing we're going to clear for you. Yes, of course, we're going to go here. They did a study. Nobody likes these stupid summer allergies. Nobody likes a cold. And so they were talking about homeopathic remedies for that. And a lot of people offer all kinds of things. They'll say, oh, drink some honey, put honey in some tea, blah, blah, blah. One thing they found that actually does work is sex. They said, sadly, though, only for men, apparently. They said for men in general, that if you do the deed and you can blow out the nasal congestion in addition to any other congestion you may have. Well, listen, you as women are so kind to men and giving to men. Where do you draw the line?
At some point, do you look at Snuffleupagus and go, I'm not feeling it?
Yeah, honey, I'm really clogged up.
Couldn't you just, and you have to look at him and go, no, I cannot.
No, if you're going to sit there and go, not sexy.
It's not good. It's not good on any level whatsoever.
The Deep Six, number 6.
We talked about Rupert Murdoch. How much did you say he was worth, by the way? Was it 18 billion?
It's somewhere between 18 and 20 billion.
Let me give you a story of a broke-ass heiress who is going to remain broke and on her ass only because she refuses to get a job. She's from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
She's allegedly being denied access to a $12 million inheritance because she refuses to fulfill her late father's condition. You can have the money, but only if you get a steady job.
Yeah. And she has to keep it for a certain amount of time, doesn't she? Like she can't just go get a job down at the 7-Eleven and then as soon as she gets the $12 million check, quit the job.
Yes. I don't know the exact timetable, but the idea is the guy knew before he died. He had enough guilt that he wanted to leave her with money and probably a lack of confidence that she would take care of herself. But he knew before he died that this may be the one way I can get her to learn that you have to work.
Right.
So she is living on Australia's version of welfare and is constantly broke and asking relatives for money because she cannot, in her mind, get a job and contribute to society.
Well, what's interesting is she says she can't get a job because people don't like her. And she's afraid. She said now people because.
Well, she's not wrong based on this story. I don't like her and I don't even know her.
I know, exactly. It's funny because, I mean, we have kids and he's like, not my kids. My kids are great. But, people have kids and kids, they come home from college and they wind up like kind of hanging around the house and stuff. And you're like, hey, you want to think about getting a job here or what? And so this guy has actually found a way, sadly, not while he was still living, to just say, you know what? Never was able to get you to get a job while I was here. Here's the only way I can do it. Do you think it's right? Do you think that's fair?
Listen, the better answer, obviously, is to handle it while you're alive directly. But I understand a father and a daughter and a dad not able to be tough enough on his daughter in real time. I do. I get all that. But the quotes from this girl, and you mentioned, how she is concerned that people like her. She said, here's another quote. I understand why people want me to be a functioning member of society. However, you have to realize I have ADHD.
Yes.
Well, you're apparently the only one. No one's ever been able to do anything when they have ADHD.
And her father also wanted her to contribute to society, even as a volunteer for some kind of charitable thing. And she can't do that.
No, of course not. She said, I call myself a broke millionaire because I'm broke constantly and I can't do anything about it. She's 26 years old. She said, people should just give me what's rightfully mine. I'm suffering. And people need to stop with the me getting a job thing because it's not happening. Her name is Claire. I wish her well. Her relatives and family say we're at our wits' end. We've done nothing but love Claire. But Claire needs to get off her broke ass and collect the check. It's kind of amazing when there's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, literally, and she's still not willing to do it.
She's not willing to step up to the plate. Well, hate to then reverse this, but that may have something to do with the way she was raised.
Yep.
It may be that nobody ever required anything of her.
Yep. And we tell you this, not to bum you out at the end of the Deep Six, but just to tell you, no matter how big a disappointment your kid is, at least your kid's not Claire.
No, you know what? It's funny. There is always a moment in all our lives, if you have kids, in which you're a little disappointed in things working out the way they do. But the beauty of looking forward and believing in them and giving them something to believe in for themselves pushes you past that. And I think that is the best part. It teaches you so much about yourself and your kids so much about themselves if you can come to terms with all of that.
Yeah, there's an old saying, you're only as happy as your unhappiest kid.
Yeah.
And I believe that. And that's, a lot of people go, no, that's ridiculous. That's so negative. Yeah. It's not negative. It's reality, because the greatest joy you have in life is when you see your kids happy and succeeding on whatever makes them happy.
Right. And honestly, I wouldn't want to be the kind of person who was completely delighted with life while my kid was suffering.
Yeah.
I honestly would want to say this is a call to action for all of us to kind of.
Yeah, we don't do politics here, but I think that would make you an honorary Trump. So there you go. It's two friends, 6 topics, if you will, 45 minutes or less.
Yes.
And we call it the Deep Six. Patty Steele Mornings with Scott Shannon.
Yep.
On WCBS-FM in New York. I just started the new Steve Cochran show on the legendary WLS in Chicago every weekday morning as well.
Are you getting any sleep?
No, I haven't slept in a week.
Thank you. Oh my God, I'm so relieved, because for all this time we've been doing this, you get to wake up at the crack of 11 a.m. and that's 8 full hours after I wake up to do my job.
The actual truth is I was going to bed at 3 a.m. I'm now getting up at 3 a.m.
Isn't that amazing?
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But we have fun. The radio, we still have fun on both shows, and we hope you like the Deep Six, and we hope you'll tell your friends. Thank you, Patty.
Thank you, my love.
Thanks for listening. The Deep Six. Subscribe, rate, follow, or review at pattysteele.com or cochranshow.com.